Hi everyone. So in today's video, I'll be working mostly on the outside, cleaning some things up. I got John to help me with a few things as well. But the main focus is going to be giving a makeover to my bird station. I can't wait. I love to feed my birds, especially during the winter time, and I have some new ideas of things I want to try. I thought I'd share them with you. So let's get right into it. In front of our house, I tend to do a lot more deadheading and trimming than I would elsewhere. I always think, we walk through here all the time. I want things to, look nice and neat. But here I'm basically just pulling weeds and deadheading some things. I'll be cleaning the pond later on, and I have some hosta I want to trim down. So in the spring, I planted these lantana plants along the right side of the steps in between the boxwoods, and I was going to pull them, being that, they're an annual, but then I noticed these beautiful berries that are on them. I think I'm going to leave them. Imagine how a dusting of snow would look on here. I'll give you guys an update on Twinkle. I had talked about it in a previous video, how he's been having some health issues, and I took him to the vet here a couple weeks ago. He had been walking crooked, like his head was tilted to the side all the time. I mean, all along he's always been eating, and he seemed, happy enough, but maybe lying around more and just sleeping a lot. I did notice that, and I think he has some stiffness as well, but lo and behold, he tested positive for Lyme disease. And in a way, I wasn't that surprised. I was kind of suspicious he might have that just by the way he acted. And she even thought he might have had a stroke with his head, tilted to the side a little bit. Sometimes it's more prominent than other times, so it's not, it's not that noticeable all the time. So we treated him for that, and she also tested his thyroid level, and that was low. So I have him on thyroid medication, and you wouldn't believe the difference. This cat is his usual self again. He can be so ornery. I mean, sure, he still has the tilted head, but I just tell he feels better, like he has that sparkle in his eyes, and I'm hoping he'll stay that way. But at the same time, he's 15 years old, so I'm sure some of these things could be, due to his age as well. He loves when I'm working outside, he'll be, with me and, just enjoying the outside with me. So I just removed the petunias that are in that raised bed in front of the house, and I want to add some tulip bulbs in there again. That was so worth it. Last year I did that, and I just really enjoyed it come springtime, just seeing all those pretty tulips blooming. And the ones I normally put in here are some mom had given me a number of years ago. They're white and yellow, and I just keep replanting them, and when I pull them out, I leave the green part on the bulbs and store them in brown paper bags in a kind of a dark, dry spot in our basement. And that seems to work so far. I mean, maybe one of these years, they won't bloom for me, but so far it has worked. I think, leaving those leaves on the bulbs, it kind of drains like down as they die down. It drains down into the bulb, and that will promote, fresh blooms, I think, the next year. So hopefully I'll get around to doing that. So I want to remove these 2 arborvitaes that are in front of this raised bed. I think it's too crowded in here, and I have another spot for them that I think will work, but I'm going to get John to dig them out for me. I know I've mentioned this before, but we basically live on rocks, or so we say, back here in the woods. It's just you can't, dig a hole without hitting rocks, so it's always a challenge to try to dig any holes. We joke about it that, all you have to do is just remove a few rocks and you have a hole, but of course you have to get them out first. I've really been liking the placement of these shrubs. When I look out the window, from the house, I like how it appears from that angle, and then also, from the shop walking in towards the house. I think it's just a nice border there along the edge of the woods. And I have plans to create a walkway or something of sorts. Maybe next year I'll work on that. Something going from the shop to the house, like I go that way numerous times per day. And it would be so nice sometimes to have, something to walk on, or if it's, wet or muddy, it would just, be nicer to have like a sidewalk of some sorts. And we don't have very good soil here, like it's really rocky, and with all the trees, we have a hard time growing grass. So we'll either have to probably redo that, like reseed it if we decide to go with grass, maybe even just put some stepping stones in, or just completely, hardscape the area. Again, just, creating a walkway with maybe some bordering beds. Try to keep it, low maintenance, but, appealing at the same time. So moving on to fixing up the bird station, I'm looking for a branch that has, numerous branches off of it that I could hang some feeders on and would be kind of plantable, like one that is sturdy enough to, plant into the ground and has, those branches to hang feeders from. And you'd think, living in the woods here, that would be easy, but it's actually kind of hard sometimes to find that perfect branch. So I found a top in here that I think might work. There's also a couple of them over here, but this one would be closer. And I like how I have a couple different branches that are sticking out. I'm not sure, can you tell? But once we have it out, you'll be able to tell there's some branches that you know, are kind of sticking out, places where I could hang little feeders. As I'm editing here, I'm thinking you guys probably know by now that I don't dress up for videos. This looks pretty hideous. I was probably making soap that I'm wearing an apron. I just think it looks kind of funny with the old slip-in shoes and the socks and the apron combination here. John is always one to do something right when he does something like this. For me, I probably would have just stuck this branch into the ground and, you know, covered it with dirt like the base part. But he poured in a bag of cement, so hopefully this will keep the post or the branch in place for a few years at least. I always like to have a suet log during the winter months especially, and here I'm cutting a new one. I have some old ones, but they're not very nice anymore. Basically just try to find a piece of wood, maybe 3 inches in diameter or so, big enough that you can drill a hole into it and you're not, you know, drilling through. And then when I drill the holes, I try to drill them, you know, deep enough that they're able to hold some suet. I'd say maybe around 1 inch. I have a suet recipe that is the bird's favorite. I'm pretty sure of it. I cannot keep it on hand. They go through a lot of it, and I'll share that recipe down below in the description box in case you want it for your birds. I always buy the cheapest peanut butter, and I use bacon grease that is left over from bacon, you know, we've fried. So there's not a huge investment in this, you know, just cornmeal, oatmeal, flour, a little bit of sugar. I store the suet in a container, you know, with a lid, of course, and I just keep it in my closet where I store my other, you know, bird feeder supplies. I have a fresh block of suet for my suet cage here on the post. I always like to have a variety of things here in the bird station. I have some corn I want to put up, and for the main feeder I've learned the black oil sunflower seeds are the most popular. I also like to spread some on the ground for some of the ground feeding birds. Some of you might remember seeing this Hobby Lobby feeder I had painted last year in a video. I had used it as a plant hanger for a while, and the plant ended up not doing so well in there, so I removed it, and I'm just going to use it to add some more seeds. I have a seed mixture that I'll put in here. Earlier this year, I had used the base part of an old lamp and glued a dish on top of it to create this bird bath, you know, then painted it. I had showed it in a video, but I had it in my backyard in the flower bed, so I think I'll move it here to the bird station. I have one more thing I want to make that I've never done before for the birds, And I saw it on Pinterest where people used cookie cutters and filled them with a mixture of lard and different seeds and mealworms. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to melt this first and then cool it down until it's just the right consistency to, mix some seeds into it and then fill these molds, and then I'll hang them. I'm not sure will the birds even look at them, being that I have that other favorite suet out for them, but I thought it would look kind of pretty there on the branch, almost like, Christmas ornaments maybe. I put these in the freezer for a couple hours before hanging them. We're having some really cold weather here in Ohio and actually ended up having our first snow. It wasn't much, just a light dusting, but it still looked kind of pretty. And I got to see the snow on these berries. I'm also going to be stocking my railing feeder. I normally just do this during the winter months, but first I'll have to trim some branches away, see if I can lure some birds onto it again. So hopefully I inspired you to maybe fix up a space for your birds. It's so much fun. Like, to me, it's so rewarding to sit inside, especially on a cold winter day, and look out and see all these happy birds, feasting on little treats I made for them. I wonder if any of you are decorating for Christmas already. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting into the mood. Like, I feel it coming, and this is different for me. Normally, I'm usually later with my Christmas decorations, and for some reason this year I'm just kind of excited to get it done. And some of you might be wondering what kind of Christmas products I'm having on my website this year. It's not going to be a lot. I'm still kind of slowed down from everything. And in case you're new here and you missed how my last winter went, I had a nasty Lyme disease flare-up, was really sick for most of the winter, and just since then I've really tried to do things differently, I guess. Not that I blame like what I do here at home, on my Lyme flare-up, but at the same time, I want to be careful and just not have maybe too much going on, because I'm famous for doing that. I never feel stressed out with the things I do, but I know if a body is under attack with a certain thing, in my case being, that Lyme disease, it won't be helping anything to just be too busy. So again, I'm just doing my every other week videos for the most part. I don't know, have you guys noticed that or not, but my hope is to eventually go back to every week, but for now this is working quite well. I don't have MB anymore helping me with the Etsy shop, but I do have another girl. Her name's Chris. She's kind of a neighbor lady. She's not close by, but a few miles off, and we went to the same school together, but she's doing an amazing job with packaging. So if you guys are ordering anything, it's probably packaged by Chris. And again, yeah, she does a wonderful job. I'm really excited about it. So far, she's just coming a couple days a week to help me out with packaging, so I'm still doing some of that on my own. But as far as Christmas products, I was texting with my cousin Michael this morning, and I don't have anything with me right now, but we are thinking of making little wooden ornaments. I've been wanting to do this every Christmas season and just haven't gotten it done, but I think it would be so cute to have those little gingerbread men and the mittens that we have carried in the past. I know some of you are probably familiar with them, but we had them as little, placeholders, maybe for a candle or just a little decoration. But I think it would be really cute to have them in maybe a 4-inch size, something you could actually hang onto a tree. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of having for a little, special kind of Christmas decoration. And then of course we have the Christmas candles. I have some Christmas soap, and I also have some other soap I want to show you. It's beside me here. I smell it from here. I don't think you can see it in the video, but this is all natural soap that my cousin Susie made, and she does such an amazing job with making soap. We both share that passion, like we both really enjoy making soap, but she helps me out, and she made this all natural. Even the colors in here are natural, and I always joke and say you could, eat this soap, but of course you don't want to do that. But it smells so good. I use it all the time. It's got such a nice lather, very moisturizing, as does all of our soap. Not to be boastful about it, but I don't use anything else. We have around, I think, 7 different scents in this right now. Then I have these adorable little soap bags, is what I call them, that a friend of mine made, and you could totally use them for other things as well. It wouldn't have to be just for soap, but they can actually be used to, put a bar of soap in and kind of use as a sponge. But you could, again, use them for other things as well. I think they're just so cute on their own even, but I am going to pair them with a bar of soap. I think they would make a great gift idea, and these are more fall colors. I also have some Christmas colors coming in these. I don't have them ready right now, but if you want to keep an eye out for that, they should be listed on the shop maybe next week, but these fall colored ones will be available today. And then I have these spa boxes again. These are similar to the ones I had last year. I added a few things, but again, this would make a great gift idea, I think. And I told myself I'm only doing a certain amount. Once they're sold out, that's it. Sometimes I get carried away with these things. If they sell out so quick, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad that people didn't get them, and I enjoyed, fixing them. I'll just go ahead and make some more. But there is a lot of work involved with all these individual little products. Again, something I love to do, probably one of my favorite things to do, but it definitely takes a lot of time, so I'm just sticking with a certain amount. So make sure to check those out if you're wanting something like this. All of these products are completely natural, healthy, great smelling, and it'll just make someone feel really pampered, using something like this. So it comes with a bath bomb and bath salts, and the bath salt container has a cute little snowflake engraved onto the lid. That way you could always, reuse the container for something else during the winter season. And a bar of soap, a little cleaning or washing pad, a candle that you can burn as you're taking your soaker, and then to top everything off, some body butter. Again, make sure to check that out on my website, not the Etsy shop, on the website. Those will be listed. The only thing that will be on both platforms, like my Etsy shop and the website that I'm talking about here, are those little wooden ornaments. I'll be able to have listed on both places, since I can do any amount, on those. It's not just a limited amount. If I have a limited amount of things, I'll generally just put it on the website. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.